Hello, everyone. Eric here with the weekly wrap up for December 29th, 2024 through January 4th, 2025. I had to check what today was. All right. So, in the past week on the channel, I had reviews for Scared to Death and Vampire Circus, the first two in my movie novelization book bundle, and I think those went pretty well. I had a small holiday haul. I got a bunch of Amazon gift cards for Christmas and got a box of stuff that I unboxed to show off. That was on the past Tuesday. And of course, a reading remembrances on Wednesday. So, not a lot of craziness going on the channel, just the usual stuff. Let's see, before I get into what I've read and what's coming up, I did pick up a few games. The last thing that I got with the Amazon gift cards, which didn't arrive by the time I made the unboxing video, was a little game called Wrath of Fire Mountain. And it's got little tiny plastic people. It's got cute little tiny plastic dinosaurs, and it's basically an area control game. There's a volcano and a bunch of tiles, but you can move the tiles so that the land groupings change. And basically, you're trying to get your people on, let's say, the grasslands, and whoever has the majority when it's time for scoring, there's three. Well, actually, scoring rounds depends on how much you make. There's a scoring cap that ends the game. But whoever has the majority on, say, this section of grasslands gets points equal to the number of tiles in that grasslands. So if there's 3 tiles, you get 3 points. But throughout the game, you can move things. So you have the majority on this nice 3-tile grasslands. But, your opponent moved things, and now it's only a 2-tile grassland. And then the dinosaurs all have special powers. It's fun. It's a quick game, very easy, and you're rolling dice to determine what you're going to do. And then for New Year's, spent New Year's at home with family, the parents, my sister, and we played games. We played 5 Crowns, which is a card game that my parents love, and we played Farkle, which is a dice game that we'd never played before. But I picked up a game called 13 Beavers, which I think is a lot of fun. It's a very simple game. There's a board, everybody's a beaver, you're just trying to make it to the end of the board. There's a deck of cards, 1 through 13, 4 copies of each. You shuffle it up, you flip the top card, and all you have to do on your turn is guess if the next card on the deck is higher or lower than the previous card. If you're correct, your beaver moves up a space. If you're wrong, it goes back to its dam. You can choose not to guess after your first guess. So say you've gotten it right a couple turns in a row and you've moved up on the board. You can choose not to guess anymore. Just move your dam up to where your beaver is. So then when you get it wrong, you're not going all the way back to the beginning. You're just going back to where your dam is. There's some special spaces on the board. You can stop at one spot and go fishing. And there's a bunch of fish and a little magnetic fishing pole. And there are 3 types of fish. 2 of them are good. 1 of them are bad. You don't know what you're going to get. There are rapids. And if you guess correctly, if you stop on the rapids, if you guess correctly, you move up 3 spaces. You skip this whole section. But if you get it wrong, you go back 3 spaces. But the big thing is the Tempting Tunnel, which is a spot where you can choose to try to guess the exact number of the next card on the deck. If you guess the exact number, you skip almost the entire board. You're only 3 spaces away from winning. If you get it wrong, though, it doesn't matter where you've damned, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the board. I'm going to brag a little bit and say that in one of the games, I guessed the right number. I made it through The Tempting Tunnel. Really fun game, very quick, very easy. So we played that on New Year's, and so that's about all. We just played some games, ate snack foods, and then I ignored the coming of the new year. I was reading. I did pick up a couple of things, a couple of other books using a credit card, which I shouldn't do because I haven't found a job yet. But and I left them over there somewhere. But through Target.com, of all places, I got Terrifier 2, the official movie novelization by Tim Waggoner, and Travels of Terror, Strange and Spooky Spots Across America by Kelly Florence and Meg Hoftel. I have all of their other books there that they've written together. Their Science of books, and they have another one of those that's supposed to be coming out. Hopefully it'll be this year. But this one, they've traveled across the country to spooky locations. And this talks about their history and things you can do if you go there and all sorts of stuff, allegedly. And I think one of the book bundles I'm going to do is going to be nonfiction. And I think this will be, I'll save this for when I do that. That'll be one of the nonfiction books that I read. I had to look at my phone to remember what the hell I got. All right, so all of that out of the way. What have I been reading? Well, I don't remember if I actually mentioned this one. I think I was reading it when I did my last weekly wrap-up. Maybe not. I don't know. But I read Project Vampire Killer by Jonathan Rabb. And it's got this sticker on it that actually works for the book. It's not some shitty special price sticker or soon to be a major motion picture, although that would be great if it were. But it says Hierarchies of Blood official production documents. I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Rabb, and well, you'll have to wait till my review to find out what I thought of this one. So I read that, and then because of the reading remembrances that I did, I decided to reread Gill's All Fright Diner by A. Lee Martinez. And again, you'll have to wait for my review to find out what I thought about it on a reread. But basically, this is a book about Duke and Earl, who are a werewolf and a vampire, and the shenanigans they get up to at Gill's all-night diner. After that, I went back to the Valancourt Paperbacks from Hell to read Nightblood by T. Chris Martindale. And, well, that'll give you an idea of what it's about. Once again, you're going to have to wait for the review. But I noticed, just purely coincidentally, one, I read 3 vampire books in a row. And 2, I have A. Lee Martinez and T. Chris Martindale. Pure coincidence, but something I noticed when I was writing it down in my notebook. But that's what I've read over the past week. And now I have started the next book bundle, which is books translated into English. And I started one already, so this is the first one. The rest, this is in no particular order, but the one I've started is All You Need Is Kill by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. And this is the book on which Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow, this is the book on which it is based, or Live, Die, Repeat, as it should be called, because Edge of Tomorrow sounds like a soap opera. So I just barely started it, but All You Need Is Kill. And then the rest of the books in this book bundle, again, in no particular order. I don't know what order I'll be reading them in. The other Japanese one is 3 Assassins by Kotaro Asaka. And this is a prequel companion novel to Bullet Train. I haven't seen the movie, but I read the book Bullet Train. It blew me away. It was absolutely fantastic. I ordered this book as soon as I could after reading Bullet Train. I don't remember if it was out and I ordered it as soon as I finished Bullet Train, or if I had to put it on my wish list because it wasn't even out yet. But I'm very much looking forward to this. I believe this is the prequel story of a minor character from Bullet Train. But I haven't read it, so I'm not sure. Then the last three are horror. We've got The Night House by Joe Nesbo. I've never read Joe Nesbo before. He's got his Harry Hole mystery thriller books. This is his first horror novel. I don't really know anything about it. It's got a Josh Ballerman blurb on the back, but Ollie from Criminale wasn't thrilled with it. So we'll see. See what happens. Then we have The Night Guest by Hildur Knutsdottir. This is Icelandic. And I think it's a vampire novel. I mean, it looks like blood dripping into a wine glass. And this is from Tor Nightfire, which is one of the reasons that I have it. And then what I think is the oldest one on here, except maybe for All You Need Is Kill, is Hex by Thomas Old Huvelt. Don't know how to pronounce his name. This is another Tor Nightfire book. I know a lot of people love this book. I have two other books from him, but I haven't read any of them yet. I really dig that cover. Let's see if it'll tell me who the cover artist is with a quick glance. I don't see it. Cover art by Sam Wolfe Connolly. Just had to look at the back. But definitely looking forward to this one. I might make this the second one that I read. I kind of figure Three Assassins will be the last one, so I've separated the Japanese books. I'm thinking it'll probably be this one, then The Night House, then The Night Guest. I hadn't noticed that before. Get a little separation between the two Nightfire books, Tor Nightfire books, and then Three Assassins. But anyway, those are the next 5 books coming up as I read 5 books that have been translated into English. I may have some others around here. I know I have some others, but I've already read them. I may have others that I haven't read, but some of this is such a mess. And I actually forgot about The Night House. I looked up online, I just looked up horror novels that have been translated into English, and The Night House was on one of those lists, and I was like, oh yeah, I have that. I can have a 5th book. So that's it. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. The job search continues. I filled out a few more applications for places that I'd actually like to work, I think. They seem like a good fit for my limited skill set. I've filled out applications for places I really don't care about, but I need a job. But there are a few that sort of fingers crossed, I'm hoping. But we shall see. Once the holidays are over, I think the holidays may have affected some hiring because people are on vacation. Or places are closed down for the week between Christmas and New Year's and stuff. So next week, hopefully, I'll start hearing from some people. Read some good books, or maybe they weren't so good. You're going to have to wait for the reviews. I don't want to give anything away. Played some fun games. I was sick for a day, and that's about it. That's all that's been going on. Let's see. Question for this video is, I don't remember if I've asked this before, but the question is, do you have a favorite translated book? Oh, now I do feel like I've asked this before. Um, so let's make it horror. Do you have a favorite translated horror novel? And another one that I could have had with this bundle is the Icelandic version of Dracula. But I think that's going to take so long to read that I would have had to go for a month with no videos. That's an exaggeration. Um, the Power of the Dark. I don't remember what it's called. Um, but it's basically Bram Stoker sent a first draft to this Icelandic author who wrote the Icelandic version of Dracula. So it's supposed to be very, very different from the Dracula that we all know and love, because of its first draft status. And then it disappeared, I guess, and then it was found, and this is the first time it was translated into English. And there's a huge introductory section with all sorts of history and things, I believe, and then you have the actual book. But I think it's a lot to try to fit into this bundle, so I didn't add that. But that's another translated work that I have. As far as favorite translated horror, off the top of my head, I want to say Tender is the Flesh. That book was fantastic. Um, I feel like I've talked about this because I want to say Ring, or Ringu was really good. But yeah, I'm getting way too old. I can't remember the questions that I've asked. But Tender is the Flesh is powerful. Just a fantastic book. I read it because of one of my guests on my favorite horror with chose that as what they wanted to talk about. So I picked up a copy and read it, flew through it. So that's what I'm going to go with. What's your favorite translated horror novel? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. That's all I've got for you at this time. So until next time, read more books.